Pawtucket, Rhode Island unveiled a backup plan to keep the Paw Sox in his city. Plus, celebrating sobriety. 5 Central Massachusetts residents graduate from the Intensive Probation Supervision Drug Court. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Anna Botari. We begin tonight with breaking news. Police say there's been an arrest made in connection with the Hope Cemetery car fire. In a collaborative effort between Worcester Police, Peabody Police, and the Mass State Police, 56-year-old Stephen Foley of Northborough has been arrested on an outstanding warrant. A warrant police say was issued by the Worcester District Court for Foley for the charge of burning a motor vehicle. Foley was arrested in Peabody and then brought to the Worcester Police Department. He'll be arraigned in Worcester District Court tomorrow. The investigation into the incident at Hope Cemetery remains ongoing. Now to developing news, the Senate has to change the latest tax reform bill before they can pass it. This because a handful of obscure provisions don't meet Senate rules. Audrey Assisto has the latest.
Republicans in Congress today declaring victory.
The conference report is adopted without objection. The motion to reconsider is laid upon the table.
House Speaker Paul Ryan presiding over a party line vote on tax reform this afternoon. But tonight, an embarrassing stumbling block. The Senate has to change the bill before they can pass it because a handful of obscure provisions don't meet Senate rules. The House will have to vote again tomorrow before the president can sign it. It's still on track to become law.
In February, on February 1st, look at your paychecks, because you'll see the tax relief we delivered today.
The Republican bill would give almost every American a lower tax rate, increase the child tax credit, and slash corporate tax rates from 35% to 21%.
Because there are changes in rates and because there are changes in deductions, they may wish to look at their withholding amounts because it could affect their cash flow.
Republicans also argue this will create more jobs at small companies. Business rate cuts are permanent, but the individual tax rate cuts expire, which could leave you paying more in 2025. Critics say this helps the wealthy at the expense of everyone else.
It's an all-out looting of America, the wholesale robbery of the middle class.
A successful pre-apprenticeship program in Central Mass will continue after receiving a grant from the state. The Central Massachusetts Workforce Investment Board has received an $88,000 grant from the Massachusetts DOT for its Worcester Building Pathways pre-apprenticeship program. The free 8-week state-registered program prepares individuals for entry-level employment in the building trades through classroom and hands-on learning. Program Director Kelsey Lemereau says the effort focuses on outreach to those who are underrepresented in construction, including women and minorities, to promote equal opportunity in the workforce. She says previous to receiving this state grant, they ran a successful program through a 2-year grant from the federal level.
Individuals go through that training, and at the end of the 8 weeks, we had 17 complete, and then all 17 were offered positions in the construction industry.
There will be another information session held on the program 1:30 Thursday at the Worcester Public Library. Now to the latest developments on the bid to bring the Paw Sox to Worcester. Today, the mayor of Pawtucket, Rhode Island, unveiled a backup plan to keep the team in his city.
The plea from Pawtucket. Mayor Don Grebian wants state lawmakers to approve the Paw Sox stadium deal quickly when they return to session in January.
What we nearly have reached is doomsday, when the team will be pushed out to another state.
Grebian says the threat from Worcester is real. The Paw Sox are in talks with that city, though there are no details or numbers on what Worcester is willing to offer. The deal on the table in Rhode Island has the team paying $45 million and the state and Pawtucket paying a combined $38 million, which would be higher with interest. Supporters say new tax revenue will more than pay for it, but House Speaker Nick Mattiello is among the skeptics.
The proposal has to be changed.
He says the public doesn't seem to be on board, so neither is he.
I think the sentiment is that this the ballpark is owned by millionaires and billionaires, and the public doesn't want to subsidize them.
That sounds a lot like what Republicans have been saying for months, that the team owners alone should pay.
Instead, they want to put taxpayers on the hook. They want to hold the state of Rhode Island hostage.
It's easy to say the billionaires. It's easy to say 38 studios. It's easy to say 38 stadium. But at the end of the day, it's about Pawtucket.
Grebian is now floating a backup plan. Pawtucket could issue the public bonds alone without the state, if the state cuts a yearly check for a few $1 million to the city. And Grebian says that's what the state would lose in tax revenue anyway if the Paw Sox leave.
The General Assembly is just willing to let them go to Worcester. We're saying let's come up with an option.
With more than 270 students from Puerto Rico and other hurricane-hit areas at Worcester Public Schools, the administration says they need help with state funding. The district's top finance official says the current school budget is not enough to support the influx of students. Our Rosalind Flaherty has the story.
As of this week, the Worcester Public School District has taken in 276 students from Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands. In October, hurricanes ripped through the land, forcing many students and their families to evacuate.
The transition has been good for the students. Every school has been very welcoming.
But Superintendent Maureen Benenda says many of the students don't speak English, making English as a second language class sizes larger.
A majority of the students, really did need ESL services.
School administrators want the state to adjust their budget. They're seeking an almost $2.7 million increase to help provide for students enrolled from kindergarten through 12th grade.
270 student increase reflects about a 1% growth in enrollment in a very short period of time, and usually we see that over a course of a full year.
Benenda says the funding will go towards providing smaller ESL classes and support services.
Anything we can do to, make them feel special and to personalize their experience here is what we really should do. So in order to do that, additional funding would be helpful.
Benenda says she's not sure how many more students will be coming from the islands, but the district is ready to welcome them.
We are providing support if families need clothing. We're providing support. We're also connecting with different groups in the community, also helping to coordinate contacts for housing.
Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
Now to Leominster. Tonight, a woman is facing arson charges. She's accused of burning her neighbor's home as part of a long-running feud. Caroline Connolly has the latest.
The fire may have started on the porch, but police say the feud that fueled it started years ago.
They've been feuding since before we moved into the house.
It's all between the family in this house and the woman who lives behind them. Okay. Linda, do you have any comment? Today, that woman, Linda Spragna, had no comment for us as she was brought into court accused of arson.
I just want to be protected.
But her neighbor and alleged victim, Paul Legier, had plenty to say.
She was berating my fiance on a daily basis.
According to him, there were daily fights about lawn care and noise that caused a daily divide between his home and Spragna's. But it wasn't until 2 unexplained fires in the last few weeks that he decided to install cameras for extra security.
I put up cameras up on the side just to protect myself, to see if I could catch anybody who was doing this.
And then he caught this, images taken around the time of the fire that was set yesterday that led police right to Spragna, who they say admitted to entering Legier's home through an unlocked door and lighting it on fire. The damage has made the property unlivable and has only added to a feud that now seems far from over.
Everything inside is destroyed, and we're basically homeless. So we just want to get this resolved and get to move on.
Now, Legier says he was actually planning to sell his home, but now it will need significant repairs before he can do that. Meanwhile, Spragna is being held without bail right now pending a dangerousness hearing, which is scheduled for Friday. In Leominster, I'm Caroline Conley, Worcester News Tonight.
Staying warm during the winter season isn't always easy, especially for some veterans who may not be able to afford heat. Tuesday, National Grid donated more than 1,000 blankets to Veterans Inc. The Heat Smart blanket kits help low-income families reduce energy bills and stay warm throughout the winter. The kits include a wool blanket, weather stripping for the windows, and advice on how to conserve energy.
This year we can distribute them throughout all of our sites in New England because we are in all 6 New England states. So we have a lot of clients that will be able to benefit from this year.
According to Heat Smart, a household can save up to 10% each year on energy bills by turning thermostats down 7 to 10 degrees at night and using their kits to keep warm. A program offered to people in the court system gives them a chance to recover from drug addiction rather than serve jail time. It's made possible by the Worcester County Sheriff's Department. Tuesday, 5 graduates shared their stories of strength and encouragement. Our Brittany Schaefer has the story.
It was an emotional ceremony as 5 people graduated from the East Brookfield Intensive Probation Supervision Drug Court Tuesday.
My grandfather, who is battling cancer right now, was able to see me sober.
Megan Parker first entered the East Brookfield District Court 4 years ago.
I was broken, shattered. I felt very alone. I had basically nothing, and I just could not stay sober. I was incarcerated numerous times, in and out of rehabs numerous times.
After completing the year-long program, Parker says she has a great relationship with her 2 children.
Today I can say I am there with my 2 children. I actually know what it means to be a mother today. A sober mother is the best thing.
The program is offered to select people in the court system and gives them an alternative option rather than going to jail. Numerous resources are offered to participants.
Whatever they need, we try to help them out with. Emily, for instance, she didn't have her high set, so we got her enrolled in our program here in Webster. It's a complete transformation. They come in, they're broken, they're helpless, they're wanting the help, they just don't know how to do it. So the journey that they've been on, all nearly a year sober, they put in a lot of hard work and they deserve this day.
These are 5 people. These are 5 stories, these are 5 families that are going to now have a different life than they would have had. And that makes us not only a better community, but a safer community. So it's really special.
Parker has now been sober for 7 months and says it's all thanks to this program.
No, I would not be here today without drug court.
Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.